It's April of 2022 now. In October of 2021, I had a cough and was diagnosed with lung cancer. And it turns out I'd had it for about 2 years, didn't know. There were no symptoms up until the cough. And I had a tumor about the size of a plum in my right lung and about 40 other white spots in my right lung. And it had escaped the lung and had gone up and down my esophagus into the lymph nodes in my neck and one big lymph node under my stomach and another lymph node in another part of in the right side of my body cavity. And they took a biopsy and told me that they would be able to do a genetic test on it, and it would take about 3 weeks to get the genome back. In the meantime, asked me if I wanted to do chemo while I wait 3 weeks, and I said sure. So they did one round of chemo, and then a few days later the genetic test came back and I was able to get on a gene therapy pill, so I only had the one round of chemo. But I immediately, I'd been meditating for about 10 years, all sorts of different techniques, including Dr. Joe's, and I immediately started getting back into heavy meditation and acupuncture. Some friends in Houston where I live had a remote healing thing set up for me, so they had that going for me as well, and just really dove in and meditated in the 95 days after my diagnosis. Probably meditated 88 of those, probably skipped like 1 week maybe on and off here and there in my meditations, and had acupuncture 22 days of those 95 days. And on that 95th day they did a scan and there was no cancer. It was completely gone. And come to the Marco Island deal and had a healing and all that, and was scanned, and it blew the doctors away. They said that they'd never seen the gene therapy pill work as good as it is that, and they said it was the first. They used words like, we're in uncharted territory, they've never seen it before. I tried to tell them, well, you had some help. Yeah, there was some outside help that other than the medicine that you gave me, and they didn't really want to hear about that. But here it is, April now, and I was scanned 2 weeks ago, and I'm still 100% cancer-free, and the doctors are still blown away by it. So I think there's nothing I can say that other than I didn't really have to surrender to the idea, because I believed from day one that I was going to be okay. I never once thought it was going to kill me. When they told me I had stage 4 cancer and they said statistically I had 2 to 4 years to live, I thought there's no way this is going to kill me. I never once got down or depressed or anything. I sort of just naturally had this innate belief that everything was going to be okay. I think that sort of concept of surrendering and believing dovetails very well into a lot of the teachings of Dr. Joe, because let's face it, when you're told by a doctor who's the authority figure that you have a illness that's going to kill you, then you can't help but be negative and think that something like bad's going to happen. So I understand the idea of surrendering and believing and letting go of those negative things and trusting in the universe and the field and God, whatever you want to call it, to fix things. And I think that's a big part of his teachings that I think just does wonders for people. So I'm real happy to give this testimonial, to give other people that have whatever their problem may be hope that these things do work and that you can get better and you will be better. You just have to envision that you that's not sick, that's healthy. My wife's a 10th degree black belt meditator. She's studied everybody you can think of. She'll name all the names, knows all the books. And she studied Dr. Joe over the years too. So whenever I got diagnosed, she immediately pulled out all these different things, and I got and some friends in Houston were planning on coming to Marco Island, so they told me about it. They're the ones that organized the remote healing group, and they got Encephalon through a charity to basically invited me to Marco Island. I was a scholarship invitee. They paid my way, and I came, and it was awesome. I tell you that all 3 healing events were powerful, but for whatever reason the second one of the 3 that I did was just I never bawled so much in my life. I felt like my heart was just the size of a basketball. Like it was going to bust through my chest. It was the most amazing feeling, and it really is. I mean, you can't come to one of these events and not feel the reality of it. And even the buddy that I came with is an orthopedic surgeon, so he had his doubts from being medically trained, but by day 2 he was like, "There's something going on here." You can feel it. Yeah, the science part really resonates. I'm a finance guy, and my education and my career is in finance, but I'm sort of a science geek at heart. I love reading about physics and different stuff. So when he started talking about quantum entanglement and all those sort of things, over the years I've read a lot about that and string theory and just other things of that nature. So it really resonated well with me to hear how he has not only discussed it and over the years built up his own personal knowledge and education by talking to neurologists and physicists and whatnot, but that he's doing this research. I didn't know the depth of the research till I came to Marco Island. When he had the panel up on stage and presented what they discovered with that protein and all that just blew me away and blew my buddy, the orthopedic surgeon, away too. He was like, "Man, this is legit. This is like platinum world-class, science they're doing. This isn't some little piddly thing here. This is like the real deal, So it was super impressive.